Good morning, Reg. How are you?
Good morning, Theodore. And before we get to the fireworks last night in Staples between the Rockets and the Clippers, I do not care what any of those Danettes are saying. I would personally rock that shirt. That is a nice-looking shirt. And the combo with the jeans and the tennis shoes, I like the outfit. So don't listen to the Danettes. So if someone's giving you grief on that shirt, they're not a true fashionista. I like it.
You want me to hook you up with one?
No, I necessarily don't. I don't necessarily need one.
Okay.
But for you, you look great in it.
Okay.
But I personally, I don't need one. But I'm just letting you know it looks good on you.
Oh, I like that. All right. Fair.
Okay.
All right, because I've seen you wear some outfits when we've been out in L.A., a lot of vests. Like, there's certain things that look really good on you that wouldn't look good on me. So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's more custom made for you.
Can you buy off?
Do
you have to have everything custom made?
Suits. Everything is custom in suits, but everyday wear, I could find things.
All right, let me talk about what happened last night during the game and what led to whatever happened after the game. And were you aware that there was stuff going on after the game?
After the game, no. I didn't hear about that till I got home and turned on our post-game show and heard Charles and Shaq kind of laughing about it, about the police presence being called to the locker room. So we didn't hear about it immediately afterwards. Obviously, we were in our cars heading back. But you could kind of see things going on throughout the game, especially between Chris and Blake, which I thought was more genuinely fun because after a little shove or elbow here, they would both kind of grimace or smile. So I just thought they were having fun with one another. But it took a turn when the benches started to kind of jaw at one another. Austin Rivers, Patrick Beverly, who were in their civvies and were talking all night to Chris Paul and the rest of the Rockets. I think that kind of ignited what was kind of going on the floor. But personally, I loved it. I said this on air last night. I'm tired of the whole hugging it out and let's go have a beer afterwards generation. It had an old school feel to it. There's no love lost between these two teams. We know about the big trade that happened, bringing Chris Paul to the Rockets. The Clippers got, I thought, a boatload of young talent, and there was some chippiness between the two. This is twice now that the Clippers have gotten the Houston Rockets. I know Chris Paul didn't play in the first matchup, but it was pretty fiery last night.
Yeah,
Theodore.
but Reg, how does the NBA react to this? Because I said I'd drop a financial bomb on certainly the Rockets for going into or trying to get to the Clippers locker room.
Absolutely. There's no excuse for that. Again, this is being reported. We don't know for sure, but I heard Wojo say this. So obviously, you and I, we weren't there. But if it is reported that they were trying to get into the locker room, not only could there be a hefty fine, you may even be looking at suspensions just so something like this never happens again. Because you can't be trying to go search and locate someone that you have beef with afterwards. I mean, we kind of saw this a couple days ago between Ben Simmons and Kyle Lowry from Toronto when they kind of got into it and both got thrown out. And, Simmons was motioning him, hey, meet me in the back. It kind of reminiscent of that fight between Rick Fox and Doug Christie, if you remember years back in that game between the Sacramento Kings and the Los Angeles Lakers when they both got tossed out and they kind of got into a scuffle in the back hallway. So you can't have this. I would not be surprised, as you had mentioned, a hefty fine and possible suspensions just so no one else has the idea of doing something like this when they get into a scuffle.
Were you ever involved in anything like that somebody came to your locker room or your guys went to somebody else's locker room?
No, we never went to – we handled things on the floor. We had your fights and your brawls on the floor. You never took it into the locker room. No one ever tried to get into our locker room. We never went and tried to get into the locker room. Look, they play again February 28th. So why try to get them in the back locker room? You're going to play them at least two more times, and, if both teams continue to play well, possibly in the playoffs. Handle it on the floor so we all can see.
What is the label on Chris Paul?
Look, to me, first ballot Hall of Famer, but at times he could rub people the wrong way because, I call him a basketball savant because he lives, breathes, and dies basketball. From watching it, obviously playing it, he is so immersed in it, and at times it could rub people the wrong way because some people are not all committed like Chris is. And I think at times that rubbed some of his teammates with the Clippers the wrong way, in particular Blake Griffin. And you could kind of see I think they were cool, they were cordial towards one another, but it was a little frosty. I was surprised they didn't at least fist bump before the tip. Yeah. There was nothing.
No.
So, these two were the face of the franchise with 6 great years. They had a win percentage of 66% and 5 50-win seasons together. So that's something to be proud of for the Los Angeles Clippers, who were always the doormat of the NBA. So something to be proud of, and I was just surprised they didn't at least show a little bit of love towards one another.
Reggie has 76ers Celtics coming up Thursday night, 7 Eastern on TNT. I'm watching the Cavs last night, and it dawned on me that maybe this is the last time we see this great rivalry play out between these two teams, given the current rosters of, and LeBron being in Cleveland. It just sort of hit me like, I don't know if LeBron's going to be back. I don't know if they're going to get to the finals. And maybe this is the last time we see these two go head-to-head, these two teams in the current makeup here. And my thought was, Reg, at some point over the next couple of weeks, I would just say to LeBron, I'm more than happy to trade that number 1 pick. And I'll trade Tristan Thompson, and we could get DeAndre Jordan. And all of a sudden, I've changed the entire defensive complexion of this team and makes us legitimate. But I need an assurance from you that you're going to stay if I make this deal. Do you think you could see a scenario play out like that?
I do not. I just don't think LeBron's going to give up his cards like that. And if he hasn't told them already that he's staying or he's committed, then he's not going to.
But then that's on him, Reg, that I'm not going to make that deal. Right?
No, I wouldn't. I would hold on to that. No, because you possibly could have the next LeBron James in that number 1 pick. Look, I think it's not up to LeBron to alert the Cavaliers if he wants to stay or not. It's a business at the end of the day. He's been great for the bottom line to Dan Gilbert and the Cleveland Cavaliers organization. Every game is sold out and 3 straight trips to the NBA Finals, winning one of them. So he's been great to their bottom line. He has to worry about his bottom line as well. It's not up to him to appease the Cavaliers. We've seen this in history of him taking his talents elsewhere. So right now he's going to try, in my opinion, to put them in the best position. To me, I know everyone's saying there's a crack in the kingdom, but I think this 4-game stretch where they were absolutely embarrassed, embarrassed in Minnesota, embarrassed in Toronto, embarrassed by the Pacers by having a big 21-point lead and getting walked down, and then on national TV again, the world champs come in and made it look kind of easy. They made it look real easy. So I think this 4-game stretch of these embarrassing games could be a wake-up call. To me, it's still going to be very difficult in the East for a team to beat that dude 4 times with no back-to-backs, and you can lock in. I know people think there's a big, huge foundation crack for the Cavaliers, but at the end of the day, you've got to beat LeBron 4 times, and it's going to be, to me, I just think it's very difficult to do that in the Eastern Conference.
You don't think Boston can beat him 4 times, having home court advantage?
I do not. I don't. Wow. As well as they're playing, I just don't see it because I know what Kyrie can do, but I'm asking a lot from 2 young players in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to be special, and they've been that during the regular season, but as you know, Daniel, once the playoffs begin, and if you talk about them matching up in the Eastern Conference Finals, that's a lot of pressure to put on a 21 and a 22-year-old going against a generational-type player in LeBron James. Don't get me wrong, it could happen, but with no back-to-backs and a chance for teams to lock in on you, you got to beat the dude 4 times. And I just don't see an Eastern Conference team doing that.
You had strong comments last week calling out the Lakers and what they should do with LeVar Ball And I'm curious what the reaction was, because it got picked up by a lot of people. And I know that we try not to acknowledge LeVar, but we do acknowledge Lonzo since he's an actual player. But what was the reaction you got? And did anybody from the Lakers react to that?
I have not heard anything. No one reached out to me. But one thing I did kind of want to piggyback on our conversation last week. I hope people don't think that I am talking noise to any of those three young men, because I love the Ball brothers. I think they're fantastic. All my comments are directed towards Pops. I have no problem with Lonzo, LiAngelo, LaMelo. I think they're going to be fabulous players. I don't think the other two are going to make the NBA. So, but I hope people don't think the comments were directed towards them, because I just don't want – I look at those guys and how much pressure it is to make the NBA in itself. Mm-hmm. But when you've got this outside influence that's making it even difficult for you – and I shouldn't say outside, it's inside because it's his Pops. It's not fair to those kids to have that much pressure at such a young age to be put on them playing a man's game in a man's sport, and they're just babies. I mean, you took this dude out of high school and it took him over to Lithuania. Come on, man. I mean, come on, man.
Before I let you go, are you on an episode of Hell's Kitchen?
I am. This Friday, Hell's Kitchen. Please, people, tune in. It was an all-star shootout. I'm not going to say who won.
Wait. Who's on with you? Did you get yelled at by Gordon Ramsay?
I got yelled at, but Gordon Ramsay was in my grill. I was so petrified. Look, forget about Larry Brown yelling at me. But, hey, forget about any of these other coaches that screamed at me. When you got Gordon Ramsay yelling at you in the kitchen, you're going to get right.
Who's on your team?
I'm going to just tell you this. I'm not on a team. We had one of the chefs is my coach, and we had to cook a dish. Their favorite dish. You know how in the opening show they always have a signature dish, the chef?
Yeah.
We had to cook their signature dish with no assistance from them. They could just, tell you what to do. But I was good with the ones and twos, the knives and forks. You're going to be surprised, people. This Friday, Hell's Kitchen. Check it out, baby.
So, Reg, Thursday night is 76ers at the Celtics at 7 Eastern on TNT, and then Hell's Kitchen on Friday night. Safe travels as always, Reg. Thank you, brother.
Theodore, you are truly the best, my friend. And, hey, send me maybe an XXL in that shirt. Maybe an XXL. I might rock it.
All right. You know what? We could do it like twins. Danny DeVito and Schwarzenegger. So the next time I'm in L.A., we could go out to dinner, and you could wear yours and I could wear mine.
Now I think about it. Yeah, you know what? Just hold on.
Maybe not.
That, okay.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Reg. All right.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.